Happy Thanksgiving to all the US folks. It is also the beginning of the holiday season, and of course, we have Black Friday coming up, so everyone's thinking about what to shop for. But we do it a little different on this channel. Here we focus on safe products and understanding the privacy implications of anything we buy. Hopefully you discern that not all gadgets are the same, that you're not the quick one to jump in and buy the latest iPhone because you know about all the surveillance crap, the AI companion, or some cloud-connected service that somebody else can see. So today we're going to do a shopping guide that will be a learning tool as well. I'm going to show you a good variety of product selections, but I'm going to show you what the normie would buy and what you, the beacon for privacy in your family, would buy instead. All products will be listed in the description so you can find them. Let's have some fun, so stay right there. The normie will buy the iPhone 17, costs an arm and a leg, and will surveil you to no end with the upcoming Apple Intelligence. But the funny thing is that most people now buy an iPhone as a camera for stills and video. So here's a really weird concept for you. How about buying a real camera? I happen to have this, and it is a DJI Action 5, and it is tiny. You can easily put this in your pocket when traveling. I used it for a trip to Paris, and you can see just from this little clip that the quality is amazing with super sharp 4K videos. It's very unobtrusive, so people don't react to you when you record, and for extended videos, it leaves your phone battery intact. This kind of device is Bluetooth and Wi-Fi free. It's not connected to the internet and completely private and just for you. Back to more iPhone alternatives. Did you know that iPhones will track your locations 24/7? In fact, even if you turn it off, it becomes an AirTag. iPhones are the complete opposite of privacy, and people think having one is the epitome of coolness. I think the opposite. I see an iPhone and I see a person who just fell for the marketing and didn't understand the surveillance infrastructure underneath. Here's the alternative. Be different. Get a Brax 3 phone. This was an Indiegogo project last year and sold out the first batch, but you can pre-order in the next batch. Unfortunately, this isn't a product you can get by Christmas. It will arrive after the holidays, but if you can delay your desire a little bit, you can join the pre-order of the second batch of Brax 3 over at Indiegogo.com. This is the best de-Google phone out there. Because it is OEM locked with verified boot, it is secure and passes Google's new TEE attestation requirements, so it runs more apps than other de-Google phones. Ring camera versus Eufy camera. If you're looking for security cameras, one of the most popular choices will be the Ring camera from Amazon. Amazon owns this. And in case you didn't know, they'll share your videos to government databases while you pay your monthly fees for cloud-stored video. Total crap, people. But instead of doing that, you need a Eufy camera system where you have local control of your videos and you do not pay for any monthly service. I have this with Homebase 3 and several cameras. You will need Homebase for video storage. Here's a combo with 2 cameras and Homebase for $219. And separately, you can get a doorbell for $149. And here's a doorbell that shows you from head to toe. This is a high-end camera system with 4K video, and I use this myself. I only recommend security cameras that don't operate in the cloud. This one is safe. Wireless keyboard versus Adventurer's antique keyboard. Instead of getting a wireless keyboard, or even if you already have one, you got to get this super cool alternative, even just as a talking point or a gift. It really makes a statement. It's a keyboard designed to look like an antique typewriter. And I happen to have one right here. It was such a cool anti-big tech statement that I had to get one, and you'll see it all the time as my video set prop. It actually works. It does have Bluetooth, but there's a switch and I use it only wired. I don't even have to use it much. It's a statement piece. Apple Watch versus Tetris Watch. Here's another anti-big tech statement that is so cool. I showed you in a prior video that Bluetooth devices, especially those for accessories, have a non-changing MAC address that can be used to follow you around. They transmit BLE nowadays and can be followed within 300 feet. So having non-Bluetooth devices available are key, especially when you're not home. But look at this. It's an actual fitness tracker that can count steps, heart rate, the usual fitness stuff. But no Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi, no tracking. And when you're not monitoring health stats, you can play Tetris. Not that that's important, but it really sends a message. Apple Watch versus Hamilton Khaki Field Auto. I don't look at someone as being cool because they have an Apple Watch. I actually think the opposite. You make yourself a slave to the technology so you can stress yourself to respond to every notification and think that every step makes you healthier, while big tech can track your every move. You can free yourself from this with a better statement. Get an authentic mechanical watch, and you'll be making a real full-on anti-tech message. When you actually understand the construction of a mechanical watch, you appreciate the genius, and it's really satisfying to observe this. I'm a watch collector, so I have several, but you don't need a Rolex to get into the coolness of this. This is a Hamilton Khaki Field Auto, and it's an entry-level luxury watch. It's automatic, so you don't have to wind it. Much better than Seiko's and Citizens, and you just get a two-watch style that actually came from early military roots. No batteries ever. This is no quartz watch. The real joy is knowing you've escaped tech, and this is well known to collectors. But there's also a classic quartz watch that's super inexpensive and also makes a retro statement. This is a favorite among watch collectors, and this watch is practically indestructible. It's a Casio G-Shock. These watches are retro 70s devices, 50 years old, and they're still popular to this day. This is a very anti-Apple Watch statement. Do you buy these because you need a watch? No. These are really statement pieces. Apple AirTag versus Tile Tracker. You'd think that the best way to not lose your keys or your dog is to use an Apple AirTag. The problem is that AirTags actually provide the mesh network technology that ensures every iPhone user is tracked 24/7. So AirTags are a big no-no to me. But you still want to track your car keys and are wondering if there's a safe way to do that. An alternative is the Tile Tracker, but I recommend you don't use it the normal way. Tile Tracker will register itself over the Amazon Sidewalk network or the Google Mesh network if you sign in and create an account. And that creates this 24/7 tracking record. Sure, you could sign up anonymously, but for home use, you could just leave the Tile Tracker unregistered. And then if you have a BLE radar app on your phone, you will find the fixed MAC address of the tile, and you will get the signal if you're within 300 feet. That's good enough for finding lost keys. Google Home versus Home Assistant. If you're thinking about starting with home automation and IoT devices, you will also need to think about the effect of all that with mesh network spying on you, plus all your information in the cloud. That's what you can expect from a Google Home option. But how about entering the open source Home Assistant family? Home Assistant is based on locally controlled automation, no cloud. The basic thing to start with is the main Home Assistant hub hardware, and you can find this on Amazon. Another option is to take any computer, including a mini PC like this one from B-Link, and install the Home Assistant software on it. It's pretty much like installing Linux, and then it becomes like the pre-built Home Assistant Green. If you're going to do a lot of sophisticated stuff on it later, a more powerful device may be needed. But you can start with even a Raspberry Pi or some old computer. Once installed, you control your home assistant from any device you use, whether it be a phone or a computer, using a browser. Start looking for products that are supported by the Home Assistant software project. There are so many contributors to this that they can integrate just about everything in your home automation, including the UFI cameras I mentioned. Lots of gadgets are part of this ecosystem, and you'll have to watch many videos on Home Assistant to understand what's possible, because there's really an interesting community that's actively building connections for so many devices. Just to give you some ideas on what you can do, you can buy remote controlled switches like these, and you can control devices via your Home Assistant app. Or you can use remote control light bulbs like these. Apple M5 or used Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon. This one is a no-brainer. Do you want another Apple Intelligence machine that sees what you see at super expensive prices? How about a $200 to $300 used Lenovo ThinkPad instead from eBay? These are super compatible with Linux, and at this price range, you can get up to an Intel i7 10th Gen. That's a 5-year-old computer. It's a steal. Start your Linux journey with this. I bought another one for myself. We have 3 of these now. 2 I bought used. At the high end of this, meaning the 5-year-old computer, you're actually getting quite a capable modern computer with very nice bright screens. That's the thing with Lenovo ThinkPads. They're made for corporate use, so they're actually spec'd much higher than consumer computers. So even at 5 years of age, they're just matching the consumer models. These are over $2,000 brand new. Microsoft Backup and OneDrive versus Synology NAS. It's time to wean yourself off the watchful eyes of big tech in the cloud. Stop storing your data on their machines where they know exactly who you are and what you're storing. They already watch your screen and you want to give them more data? This is a nice way to transition. Build yourself your own Synology NAS. A 2-bay option for $284 and maybe $99 for a 4TB hard drive. This is all you need to get started, and you can access this backup from the internet. You can have your own cloud. Don't rely on big tech for backup and storage. UMA versus GrandStream. Thinking about going landline? You may have heard of options like UMA or MagicJack. These are not the best options because they involve KYC, meaning they have your ID. And next, they are not bargains. They fake you into signing up cheap, and then you get very expensive bills after. Plus, you are locked into their hardware. The best option we recommend is to use one of these GrandStream products. These are called SIP phones, and they pretty much operate like a regular landline, but over the internet. You can set it up yourself, or you can buy it from our store and we will configure it for you with Brack's virtual phone service. Then you will have a landline with no recorded identity. A Brack's virtual phone service is $75 to $180 a year, and it will work with these phones. Bluetooth wireless earbuds versus wired headphones. If you watch my Bluetooth BLE video recently, you will find that your Bluetooth headphones or earbuds are emitting an identifying signal that can cause you to be tracked. And headphones and earbuds are the worst because the MAC addresses are fixed. So what I look for is a non-Bluetooth headphone with detachable 3.5 millimeter cable, so I can replace that as needed and gives the headphones a longer life. So this one is a wired headphone from Sennheiser, a well-known brand in audio circles. If you want to go high-end, this is absolutely the best. I have older versions of this. It's a Sony WH-1000 XM6. I have the XM4 and XM5. Those are still good and are cheaper. This is some really sophisticated noise cancellation, and airplane noise is completely wiped out during travel. This comes with Bluetooth, but frankly, you don't have to use the Bluetooth. You can use a 3.5 millimeter cable and plug it in, which is how I regularly use it. Wi-Fi router versus Brax router. New models of Wi-Fi routers are out now supporting faster speeds and better mesh networks, and all these are not really helping your privacy. Instead of pushing for this illusion of increased speed, think about privacy instead, and what you need is to add the Raspberry Pi Brax router to your existing network. This then forces all users into a VPN, and no one has to install any VPN apps or configure any VPN. That's done at the router itself. And this is done using a simple Raspberry Pi that is running Brax router software. And you just put it behind your main router. Then you can expand it to the entire house using switches and more Wi-Fi routers by using it in wired mode. All you need is to attach an Ethernet dongle to it. This is all available at the Brax.me store, or you can buy your own Raspberry Pi kit. And here's a matching Ethernet dongle. And purchase the Brax router software from Brax.me for $149. Samsung Android or Baofeng. Instead of thinking of another Android phone and have more spying in your life, maybe time to refocus in a different direction and be more prepper-minded. How about an emergency ham VHF radio? You need a ham license to transmit on these channels, but for prepper use, you can just mostly listen, and you don't need a license to listen. One time there was an earthquake here, and the information flowing through the ham radio was fantastic and localized, faster than the news. An excellent gift for the family and totally anti-big tech in philosophy. This is a popular hobby, and there's lots of YouTube channels on this. And it's easy to get a ham license if you want to join this hobby, and it's privacy safe. It's one of the best hobbies in electronics, but safe from the big tech surveillance, and it gives you the ability to have tools to handle emergencies. I myself have a ham license in the general class. Power bank versus solar panel. If you're a typical normie using your phone all day, you probably are interested in a power bank to recharge your phone. Although there's nothing wrong with that, let me redirect your thoughts to a more proper outlook on charging. How about a small portable solar generator and solar panel to tide you over in an emergency? It can power your computer and phones, and if there is no immediate power, you can recharge using the sun. There are just so many instances where you will need this both in emergencies or just traveling in the car. ChatGPT doll versus Barbie. There's now many different kinds of AI-enabled dolls and toys on Amazon. And heed my warning, folks. Whatever these devices here are stored in the cloud. Often these devices are connected to Amazon Echo, Google Cloud, or are using their APIs. So whatever you say or your kids say are recorded. If you think some talking doll is talking locally, think again. This is all over the internet, and you are adding surveillance to your household. It's as bad as having Amazon Echo. So stop with this kind of tech. I think my followers already know this, but I have to arm you with knowledge in case some kid asks you for this as a Christmas present. Instead of AI dolls, iPads, and phones, give them the standard Barbie and call it a day. Have the kids use their natural imagination, and they will have more fun than with some AI machine controlled by someone else. SIM card versus MiFi. Instead of putting a SIM card in your phone, which typically requires ID or KYC, you can instead carry a small personal MiFi, which is a cell-based Wi-Fi hotspot. You either put in a SIM card in it or some models use eSIM. What is useful about these devices is that they're internet only. They actually remove the surveillance portion of telephone traffic called the PSTN. Internet traffic is mostly encrypted, so there is little that is seen in it by third parties. By using a MiFi device, you can actually use it with your phone using Wi-Fi only, so your phone never reveals its identity or IMEI. The IMSI subscriber identity is only on the MiFi, but it doesn't identify the phone model. And obviously, phone calls cannot be intercepted on the MiFi as it has no calling function. For making and receiving texts and calls, you can use the Brax virtual phone service. There are many MiFi type of devices, and some are tied to specific carriers. Here's a new model from Netgear Nighthawk M6 5G mobile hotspot. I have an older model of this. This works with all carriers. So there you go. A wide assortment of products, and maybe you have more ideas. Go ahead and leave those suggestions in the comments below. And I'll make sure to include them the next time I come up with a buying guide. If you want to discuss privacy issues further, I invite you to visit us on my privacy platform, BraxMe. There is already a large community there and all talking about the different aspects of privacy and privacy products, or just socializing in a safe way. Join us and we would love to have you there. Thank you to those that support us on Patreon, YouTube memberships, and locals. You are so kind to support us financially. Happy holidays and see you next time.